The lie that set me actually free. I was a liar. Not the kind who steals or schemes, but the kind who wants so badly to be seen that I twist my stories, embellish my life, make myself more interesting than I felt I was. I like to be loved, I like to belong, I liked because the truth of who I was felt not enough. And I kept lying until I realized something that changed completely. The person I was lying to the most was actually myself. As a child, lying came naturally. I'd tell these elaborate stories to my classmates, to my family, to everyone who would listen. I wasn't trying to hurt anyone. I was trying to be validated, to be cherished, to have these juicy stories that made me interesting, that made people want me around. It's the same reason a bully becomes a bully. No one is born wanting to hurt others, but somewhere along the way, they learn that being seen, even for something negative, is better than being invisible. That was me. I needed to be part of something, part of a group, part of a story bigger than the one I was living. But lying comes at a huge cost. It builds a version of you that isn't real. And eventually you forget where the lies and where you begin and where your beginnings are. Real honesty has 3 layers. Layer 1, factual honesty, not lying with your words. This is what most people think honesty is. And the second one, emotional honesty. Being truthful about what you actually feel, not just what you think you should feel. And the third one, identity honest. Being truthful about who you actually are, not performing a version you think will be accepted. So most people have layer 1. They don't outright lie, maybe some white small ones, but very few have 2 and 3, because those require something harder, being honest with yourself first and foremost. And being honest with yourself means facing things you've been avoiding. I had to face that I sought validation obsessively and built my whole identity around it. That I was performing confidence while feeling deeply insecure. That I criticized others for some things I was doing. That some of my values were actually just what I thought impressive people should value. The ugly, uncomfortable work of getting honest with yourself about who you actually been versus you claim to be. You can't change what you won't acknowledge. That's the bottom line. As long as I was lying to myself about seeking validation, I kept seeking it. Once I got honest, yes, I actually did. Yes, I desperately want validation. Yes, I build my whole self-worth on external approval. Yes, this is exhausting me. I could finally address it. Everything shifted when I moved to Asia for 6 months in my teens. When you travel alone, when you move to a different country for an extended period of time, something magical actually happens. You don't bring your identity with you. You get to start fresh. No one knows your past, your patterns, your stories. So I saw this as my golden chance to change. I'd been reading everything I could get my hands on. Hermann Hesse, philosophical texts, books about self-validation, about finding worth from within, instead of seeking it externally. I was obsessed with figuring out my flaws, understanding why I behaved the way I did. So I made a decision I would use this trip to actually do the big change, to become totally honest with myself about who I was, what I'd done, and why I'd done it. I started detangling my past. What was mine? What wasn't mine? What stories had I been carrying that didn't belong to me? What flaws did I need to own instead of hide? And slowly, piece by piece, I stopped inventing myself based on a story I thought fitted my surroundings. So becoming honest wasn't just about telling the truth. It was about owning all of me. The good, the bad, the embarrassing, the shameful one, I really had to look at my failures, my vulnerability, the parts of myself I'd spent years trying to cover up or make more palatable. And I had to accept them, not fix them, not justify them, just accept them as part of who I was. Because without that acceptance, I couldn't be whole. And without being whole, I couldn't create anything real. When I came back and I started my first business, I knew I had to build it on this foundation. Total honesty, not just with my clients, but with myself. I couldn't perform, I couldn't pretend, I couldn't build something based on an idea of who I thought I should be. I had to show up as me, fully, authentically, with all my flaws on display, and that's exactly what I did. So my first business became a success. Very grateful. Not because I was perfect, far from it. Not because I had all the answers, nope. But because I dared to be authentically me. I had acquired my identity. I knew who I was. I knew what was mine and what wasn't. I owned my good sides and my negative sides equally. And that was a game changer. I dared to stand up for myself, dared to be proud of myself even. When you're honest with yourself, when you truly own all of you, who you are, criticism doesn't land the same way. Gossip doesn't shake you. Other people's opinions become background noise. And that was an amazing experience. Because you're not looking for validation anymore. You're not waiting for someone else to tell you you're good enough, smart enough, worthy enough. You already know. But I want to be clear about this. Honesty isn't just about being truthful. It's about integrity. It's about authenticity. It's about daring to choose yourself over what the collective thinks you should be. And there are a lot of shoulds. And that's where most people get stuck. We're taught from birth to perform, to show the world what great humans we are, to be validated, to be seen, to be loved, to be cherished. So we hide the less attractive parts. We bury our failures, our shame, our vulnerabilities. We present this polished version of ourselves and hope for the best, and it's good enough. But you can't be honest with your surroundings if you're not being honest with yourself, first and foremost. And to be honest with you, you have to own it all. Every story, every failure, every moment you're not proud of. You have to take accountability, not blame others, not make excuses, just own it. Then and only then can you start detoxing the things that don't serve you anymore. The information that isn't yours, the stories you've been carrying that belongs to someone else. This is the deep inner work. And it's not easy, it's uncomfortable, it's messy, and it requires you to sit with part of yourself you've been avoiding for years. But once you do it, once you clear out what doesn't belong and what does, you arrive at a version of yourself that is real. Right here, right now, and that version is honest. Honesty is a moving target. It changes as you change, as you gather new information, new inspiration, new experiences. That's the organic way. You have to stay in tune with yourself. You have to keep checking in. Who am I today? What is mine and what is not? So how do you actually become honest? It's a tricky one. But start by asking yourself why. Why you do what you do. Why do you say what you say? Why do you react the way you react? Trace it back. Is this response yours, or is it something you learned from your parents, your teachers, your surroundings? Is this belief something you chose, or something that was handed to you? Then look at all the aspects of yourself, not just the shiny parts you show the world, but the messy, juicy parts too. The failures, the shame, the vulnerability, the moments you'd rather forget. Own them. all of them. Don't dismantle the things you find unattractive. Don't hide them. Please just own them to be whole. Because the second you own all of you, the good and the less attractive, you actually become whole. And only then can you be truly honest with yourself and with the world around you. But when you own all of you, when you embrace your flaws alongside your strength, something actually shifts. You stop feeling shame. You stop feeling inadequate. You stop performing for the world around you. And you start showing up as yourself. Vulnerable, present, all of you. That's when honesty becomes easy. Not because you're perfect, but because you're real. And we need more real in this world. And being real is the only way to create something that actually matters. I spent years lying to be seen. Now I spend every single day being honest so I can see myself. And that's made all the difference. If this resonated with you, if you're ready to stop performing and start owning who you really are, I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment. Subscribe if you want to more of this. And remember, the only person who needs to validate you is actually you. I also have a free 7-day manual that will kickstart you on to your new path. So go and grab it.